Well, they'll be calling you a radical. I've been wanting to do this video for a fucking while. I've always been going to write a book about Utah basketball, the state, this incredible state of basketball, the great era, the last of the great era, the 1990s. What an era in this state for basketball. How is it possible the Utah Jazz had the best fucking record in the entire conference? I mean, they were the one seed, 2021. I mean, we're talking 3 years later, and they have the worst record because it's coaching. It's like the 1990s, right here. Harold Arsenault, the show. Eddie Gill, upset fucking North Carolina. Well, they had Florida beat. I was at that game, sitting with Sakowitz. He had to walk outside on that free throw. How is this possible? How about the great Rick Majerus teams? I mean, how good was Andre Miller? Oh, fuck. Van Horn, Doliak. I mean, what has happened? What is it? Coach, how about the Utah Jazz? Phil Johnson. Phil Johnson's the one coach in the state of Utah that does not get his credit. Well, probably the best team in the history of here. At Bagelin, 95, 99, 68, 69. Phil Johnson. I mean, if he'd have been the head coach for the Jazz, Jerry Sloan was a great fucking coach, but I don't know. What the fuck has happened? Basketball used to be so paramount. We used to get NCAA tournament games in there every year. I watched Jason Kidd's last game there. I watched Jason Kidd's last high school game in Sacramento. I remember. They played Mater D. It's fucking unbelievable. But they got upset here. I watched Jimmy Valvano, caught that. Well, Arnie Farron, born and raised in Ogden, Utah. Head of the committee. How about all the games we used to get at the Huntsman? I watched Steve Nash upset when the 15 seed beat. Remember that Santa Clara freaking beat Stoudemire in Arizona? I was at that game. I still have my ticket and everything. I watched so many great games in here. So many great fucking teams. The great coaches. Oh, fuck. How good was Neil McCarthy? What a great fucking coach. That upset with Lamar. Nobody knew. That was Billy Tubbs. It's coaching. What the fuck? So Larry Miller's roaring over in his grave. Larry Miller was one great fucking owner. And you remember the Miller family is the one who Utah has a legacy trust law. Now, that was an old England thing, an old European thing that you couldn't legislate from the grave. Well, Utah got one through. How Gail Miller got it through? Because she says she's going to keep the Utah Jazz in Utah and keep it in the Miller family forever. Well, she's married to Larry Miller's attorney. And they immediately sold the Utah Jazz. This fucking owner's the worst. The coaching staff, the whole fucking Danny Ainge culture, it's a fucking nightmare. How can you go from first to worst? Well, ask him here. I was talking to a guy the other day and he said, well, they just don't recruit here. Are you fucking nuts? I remember me and Randy Ray having a big fight. Are you crazy? Don't recruit here? Oh, you mean like Damian Lillard? You mean like Dylan Jones? You mean like Jerry Carding? Don't recruit? Damian Lillard never played in an NCAA tournament. Neither did Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones plays on that great fucking OKC team. He's on the bench, but, how good are they? Well, how good? Now you think about it. You think that Larry Miller would have ever traded Stockton or Malone? Well, this fucking group traded Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They're not. They're not? Wait a minute. They're not? They're not? Wait a minute. Who's the best player in the NBA right now this year? Oh, it's no doubt. It's Donovan Mitchell. He's the best player in the NBA. You see their record? They might end up with the best record in the history of the fucking league. That 72 wins team of Golden State. Of course, they lost Game 7, didn't they? That Bulls team, what was that, 96 where they were on 72? They're on track to win that many. Donovan, why would you trade him? You got the number one seed. Of course, they got upset in playoffs. How has this happened? The great golden age here in the 90s. How good. I remember being down at Utah was playing Weber State here in the 90s, and I was down having breakfast at the Marriott, and they were staying there. And I run into him. And I talked to him. And I says, well, this Weber team's good. And he said, oh, yeah. He says, Ronald Baglin is the most undervalued, underestimated coach in the country. He says, that dude could, we're going to have problems with these guys. And, you know, we're going to have our hands full. Weber drilled him, beat him. You know, and think about the assistants. Guy Beach, how good was he? How about Dick Hunsaker? Oh, fuck, what a coach. Are you kidding? Remember that run he had with Ball State? Fucking one step on the line or they go to the Final Four. You know, 18. I mean, what a golden age for fucking basketball. What happened? What fucking happened? Coaches. Coaches. We just don't have those great coaches anymore. I mean, how does the Jazz go from first to worst? That's what I'm going to tag this. I mean, you think about the great Utah State teams, BYU, University of Utah. There was lots and lots of years, all four schools that have teams in the NCAA tournament. You know, BYU still has good teams, but they can't win a tournament game. Same with Utah State. They always have great teams. They can't win a tournament game. The Big Sky, fuck. They've won one fucking tournament game in 26 years. That 99 team, fuck, how good were they? Now, fuck, the Big Sky's lucky to get a 15 or 16. They had to play the playing game last year. I mean, it's sad. It's unbelievable. What the fuck happened? It's not about players. I mean, how good was that University of Utah Rick Majerus fucking teams? What a great coach. How about Ronald Baglin? How about Dick Motta? How about Phil Johnson? How about fucking Dick Hunsaker? How about fucking Guy Beach? You know, he played here, that old UCLA coach. You know, Ben Howland. I mean, my God, what coach. How about Neil McCarthy? How about Gene Vischer? What great coach. Why can't they win? I mean, how do you go from first to worst, this great basketball fucking state? I mean, and I remember I had season tickets to the Jazz. I would sit down there and watch the great Ricky Green was my favorite. And the sophisticated fans in the old Salt Palace, oh, they knew their shit. The basketball fans in Utah knew their shit, and they were hardcore, beautiful, sophisticated fucking fans. Respectful as hell. They didn't fucking call people names. Now, I flew on the plane with Donovan Mitchell from New York here when he came here. I didn't know who he was at first. He was standing in the airport, and I said, "It's a guy like you do on here." He's like, I got drafted by the Jazz. I said, "Who are you?" He says, "Donovan Mitchell." I said, "Oh, I watched you in high school. You know, played for the academy." And I'm like, I lost track of him at Louisville, and I had a conversation with him. You know, the fans are, Joe, go ask Chris Paul, his brother. I says, the fans, I got rid of my season tickets. They got beer police down there now. It's fucking terrible. They used to have great ownership. You know, it was a great product. I mean, I'm sitting across from Jordan when he drops the fucking shot. And you know how much that ticket is? Face value, $66. I'm on the 12th row. $66. I paid $40 for it. I scalped it. And I had season tickets for all those fucking years. Ricky Green. How about the great Hot Rod? We go from Hot Rod Hundley to fucking David Locke? Oh, fuck it, please. How good was Hot Rod? Oh, my God. How good was Clocky here, who was killed this year? I sure miss him. We have Arky. He's awesome. But, you know, it's unbelievable what's happened. The golden era, the 90s for Utah basketball, that was the end. You know? I mean, it's unbelievable to me what's happened. I really can't believe it. The sophisticated, beautiful, smart, but you'd sit there. I had really great season tickets right up there. And we would talk. And, first of all, I forgot. You know, my heart goes out to everybody in New Orleans, you know, because it's always such a beautiful time to watch college football. You know, Scatterby played here. I'm going to do a video at the football stadium about Scatterby. Texas has stuffed him now 4 times at the goal line. And so we're finally going to get some snow, it looks like. But what happened at New Orleans, and they've canceled the game. It's fucking heartbreaking. You know. The sophisticated fan here, Millionaire Row, you know, Utah Construction G, when they merged, became, fuck, that place was full of multimillionaires, fucking just rows of them. Sophisticated, smart, the love of the game. Fuck, it was such a beautiful, what the fuck's happened? Coaching. It's not about players. Me and Randy Ray got in a big argument. Well, Kevin, we just don't get the players like when you work for Coach Bay. I says, oh, really? You mean like fucking Damian Lillard, you don't get players? Dylan Jones, Jeremy Sieglin, fucking Scotty Bamforth, Joe Bollenboy, Dylan Jones. Oh, fuck, they got players. Fucking Jazz go from... It blows my mind. So I'm talking to the incredible Donovan Mitchell. And I says, well, Donovan, we talked, we met, we visited, we're waiting for the plane. Long conversation. And he's like, I says, well, I've season ticket for years. I'm born and raised, basketball, Utah, blah, blah, blah. I got rid of my season. I said, did you see the game? It's the perfect thumbprint, and basketball metaphors matter for what's happened to Utah basketball. I says, did you see the game with Kevin Durant? He's playing for Golden State. I think Jazz were, 8 seed. They were 1 or 2-7. And at the end of the game, those guys are sitting right up on the front row, running their fucking mouths. Remember, they're down 3-0 in this series, running their mouths, and the Jazz are up against Durant. He says, yeah, I did watch it. And Durant scored like the last 15 points of the fucking game. You know what Donovan Mitchell told me to my face? Don't feed the lion. And I told Donovan, I says, beware. There's a lot of racism going on in Utah. A lot of bad, big mouth, ignorant fans. And go ask Chris Paul and his brother when that whole thing went down. I mean, there's the thumbprint. When the fans used to be so respectful, so incredible, so smart, so dynamic in this state. Fuck, the Utah Jazz fans, you sit there and fucking have conversations with a total stranger. They knew their shit. So did the University of Utah fan. So did BYU. So did Utah State. So did fucking Weber State. I mean, they were incredible. I mean, what a beautiful fucking sport. What a beautiful time. So it blows my mind, actually. Do you think Larry Miller would ever trade John Stockton or Karl Malone? They traded Gobert and... Oh, he's not Johnson. Oh, really? Oh, really? He's not? You sure about that? You sure about that? Dylan Jones, he don't get to play much, but fuck, look at that team. All that, don't fucking fix what ain't broken. Look at them go. That OKC team. What an experience he's having. Fucking. How about Jerry Cardin in fucking Europe? He plays tomorrow. Look, he's going crazy over there. Europe, So, wanted to put this up. What happened? What the fuck? How can the Utah Jazz go from the number 1 fucking seed to dead last? They got the worst record in the NBA. It's pitiful, actually. My heart goes out, my prayers go out to the New Orleans. They canceled the football game. Jesus. What a fucking way to start this year out, right? Heartbreaking. So, the great basketball state. Basketball metaphors matter. It's the greatest performance I saw in that house ever. Well, Jerry Cardi. It's the greatest player I ever saw in here. Him and Dylan Jones. But the great Damian Lillard. Anthony Johnson. I mean, they beat him. They're in this Big Sky Championship game. Lillard was they were ahead by 22 points in the second half. Anthony Johnson never missed a free throw, never missed a shot, being triple team. Scored 40-something points. I think the total was 66. Never seen a performance like that. He was later interviewed. You never did that before, you never did it after. Wow, I had an out-of-body experience. He passed away of a stroke last year. We really should do something for him in the Big Sky. It's the greatest performance ever. Big Sky hasn't won a tournament game since they won one, I believe, in 2007 with Kostoviak. That's it. I mean, it's sad. What happened? Coaches matter. We just don't have the great coaches anymore. Like Ron Baglin. Like fucking the great Rick Macheras. Like Dick Hunsaker. Like Guy Peach. Like fucking Phil Johnson. I mean, wow. Jerry Sloan. Stand tuned.